So I'm starting my week of call, and I wanted to give a brief, I laugh when I say brief and then I chatter for 14 minutes, a brief discussion about the Google again. It came up a lot this week. So I do birth control prescriptions for Simple Health, which is a great birth control company. There are many online companies. I think they're probably all good, but Simple Health is the one that I do it for. And what often will happen is a patient, who's not one of my patients, they're patients of this company, will write, they want birth control, they'll give us all of their information, their demographics, and then based on a few factors, we pick which birth control pill. Many of you might know this. There is no one right pill for everyone. And that kind of goes well with what I say about everything in life. There's no one right answer for everyone about anything. I wish there were, because life would be easy. I mean, the one right thing is we should all be gracious and kind. Period. End of sentence. Not all the time, I guess, but a lot. So when it comes to birth control, people will say to me like, okay, well, which one's the best? And the answer is there is no best. There's literally no best. I could find pills, patch, ring, IUD, shot, implant, condoms, natural family planning, withdrawal. Those are all the things I can think of. There's now actually a gel insert. And there is no one right answer. Everyone's different. And actually, many patients have multiple things they could use for different endpoints. I bring this up because what will often happen is someone will request birth control. I will prescribe it. And then we'll get a message back. Oh no, I don't want this pill. I've heard terrible things about this pill. When I research it, everyone seems unhappy with it. You say something like that to me, guess what I'm going to say back to you? Okay, great. Well, then you tell me what has Dr. Google told you want? Because you've asked the professional, and I'm not someone who's dogmatic. You know that. Well, I am, but I'm kind of not. I'm not someone who's dogmatic in saying like, I prescribed it, you need to take it. I'm all for it. You tell me, you come to me and say, I want XYZ pill. I will prescribe it and I'll tell you the pros and cons like anything else. And by the way, most pills have the same pros and cons because my response to you is every pill behaves differently in each patient. I could use a pill called Sprintec, for example, and 10,000 patients might love it. 10,000 patients might hate it. What's the difference between these patients? Nothing that we could put our finger on. It's not like, oh, everyone who's blonde and 120 pounds loves it and everyone who's heavy and brunette doesn't. It doesn't work like that. Even the pills who make claims with certain things, those claims don't always work for everyone. Period. They just don't. So what I often do in my practice, if you're my patient, you know this, if you come to me saying, okay, you want a pill, I'll ask a few questions like, do you want to skip your period? Do you not? Little things like that. And then I might even say something to you like, by the way, is there a pill that you've heard of through family or friends that you'd like to try? Because that's as good a place to start as any, because there's no science behind how we exactly pick which pill for which patient. And we have to consider things like your insurance coverage and all kinds of things, right? And then if you don't like one particular pill after a couple of months, then we switch to a different pill. It actually goes very well with another question another person asked me today. So just to round out why it's frustrating a little bit is that we don't actually know all the right pills for you guys. And I try to say that to my patients, but not everyone knows that. But now if you're going to a doctor and saying, okay, I'd like to go on the pill, and the doctor says, okay, great, I'm going to give you this pill. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh no, but now I researched it and I don't want that pill. But I challenge you, research every single pill, every single ring, every single patch, every single IUD, every single pulling out and condom. You'll find negative press about all of them. And by the way, you won't even necessarily find positive because people just don't have time. When they're doing well, they're not going to write reviews about it. But when they're feeling negative, they get on there. The similar situation came up today with someone who is in need of a surgery, a hysterectomy. And the question was, if she needs a hysterectomy, she was told by one person that if she has her cervix removed at the time of hysterectomy, it will ruin her libido and sex life because this particular person she was speaking to told her that. This person said something to the effect of, don't let them remove your cervix because it will ruin your sex life. To which I replied to this person who I love, by the way, this is no reflection on her. This was just one more example of the things that I hear a lot. None of us can listen to just one person like that, right? Nor should you listen to your doctor as one person if you don't want to. You can do the research, but the fact is, especially with the interwebs, there is research to support anything you want. You can corroborate anything you want. So when it comes to things like, does removing your cervix at the time of a hysterectomy ruin your sex life? Well, the clear medical data would say no. They've actually done studies about supracervical hysterectomy versus a total abdominal hysterectomy, both of which remove your uterus with your cervix or without. Supracervical meaning to remove your uterus but leaves your cervix. Total hysterectomy means remove the whole uterus with the cervix. And they tried to look at two parameters, which were ability to orgasm and incontinence afterwards. And they found that there was actually equivalent, pretty much, data. Now, many women will have hysterectomies at the time of, for example, perimenopause, menopause, or if, like in my case, they're going through cancer, that tends to occur in their 40s or 50s or 60s, at a time where they also will have hormonal changes that may lead to a decreased libido or atrophy of their vulva and their vagina, which make sex less appealing and less comfortable. Is it true that removing your cervix will squelch your sex drive? I have millions of data points and thousands of patients who will say otherwise. Now, they might not feel like having sex with their long-term partner, and that's just coincidental with them needing their hysterectomy at the time, but it doesn't suddenly change your sex life. Does it affect some people's sex life? Absolutely, it might. There are nerve endings that can lead into the cervix that they're finding we might not know as much anatomically as we thought. In fact, when I was a resident, we thought that the clitoris was only that little nubbin of tissue at the top of the vagina and vulva, when in fact, top of the vulva, I should say, outside of the vagina. But now, in fact, we're learning that it has kind of bulbs of of nerve endings, that go underneath the labia. So we're learning a lot more. But again, is it safe or accurate to say that across the board? And should you, as a person who's had one singular experience, say to someone else, you shouldn't do this because this is what happened? That's like me saying, none of you should deliver vaginally because my child had an intrauterine stroke. I don't say that. I say, not everyone should deliver vaginally. Not everyone should have a C-section. There is good and bad to both, and every patient is different. Not everyone should have a hysterectomy with their cervix removed. Not everyone should leave their cervix. Every patient is different based on their particular category issues, which they should discuss with their doctor. So, all this to say, please refrain from listening to, and certainly refrain from being, that person who dogmatically says to other women in particular, don't do this because this was my experience and this is what happened. I don't think it's wrong to voice your experience. I don't think it's wrong to say, you know what, when I had my hysterectomy, I actually noticed a huge change in my sex drive or sex life. I think that's so appropriate. Discuss it, because we could ferret out why that happened. And that might have happened for reasons that included the surgery, or that might have happened for reasons that surrounded the same time around the surgery. But for each of us to be so arrogant as doctor or patient or human or woman to believe or to state that our singular experience is extrapolatable to everyone else's is just so egregiously wrong. There's no other way to say it. I started by saying there's no right or wrong. It's wrong to do that to people, because then you get into people's minds. It's like saying everyone should have 3 babies because I have 3 babies, or no one should have a baby before 34 because I didn't have a baby before 34, or nobody should have, I don't know. There's so many examples I could give that are absurd. Okay. This actually was quick for me because I'm stopping at 8.5 minutes. Wish me luck on my week on call, people. Talk to you later. Bye.